Forbes.
Okay, I worked in the World Trade Center from '98 until 9/11 in 2001. My interest in the whole issue of a conspiracy for 9/11 is based on fact that there was a power down in the South Tower on the weekend of the 8th and 9th of September. I worked on it. I was in the tower at the time, so I know for a fact it occurred along with many colleagues. I was at home on the day of 9/11, witnessing the events from my apartment because of the requirement to work on the weekend prior to 9/11. I was sitting in my chair having coffee, and I heard a noise which sounded to me like a very heavy truck hitting a bump in the road and like bouncing. So the noise was like bum 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 bum, like that. So I got up and went to the window and looked between the Venetian blinds down to the road, and there was nothing. So then I just looked up, and in the North Tower I saw smoke coming out from a high floor. At this point I was hanging out of my bedroom window. I'd pulled the window up and the blinds, and I was hanging out of the window on the phone, and from the corner of my eye to my right I saw the plane coming in, the second plane. It came in from over New Jersey, Staten Island way, and it came almost entirely across the Statue of Liberty, quite an angle, into the tower, and it was coming down as well. I saw the South Tower go down just before 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe my eyes. It looked like a fantasy film. What I saw was the building crumbling, like sand. I remember thinking it looked like sand, and instinctively the thought went through my head, well, what did we do at the weekend? I didn't believe my eyes, and I didn't understand it either. And you know, within 25 seconds, where our offices had stood, there was just air and smoke. So we worked on the Saturday morning, shutting everything down, handed over to the Port Authority, and it was handed back to us on the Sunday afternoon. So there was a period of probably 30 hours where there was no power. Right, and it wouldn't have just have affected camera security, it would have affected all the secure systems on doors for either key locks or security badges and so on. To undo them, they weren't working because they're all powered by electricity, so there was no power, there was no backup system, therefore they were all open.
How does it make you feel looking at those photos?
Kind of nostalgic, really, because it was fantastic working up there. I mean, you were working, but then you could just turn around and look out the window, and there was always something new going on every day. So it was quite an experience. In retrospect, of course, looking back, you think about everything that went on. The fact of the power down in itself was unusual. The fact that there were visitors to the tower, many in overalls, like engineers of some kind, wandering around the floors, carrying toolboxes and cables and so on. At the time, wasn't suspicious of it, didn't think anything of it. I guess my big thing is I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't like to be labelled like that. The information that I want acknowledged is factual, plain and simple. So, you know, I don't have any clarion call for anybody. I just want the truth to be acknowledged and explained. When I tried to register the information, with the 9/11 Commission thereafter. And when I pursued it with the Port Authority to acknowledge it, and the information was not registered by the 9/11 Commission, and it was not acknowledged by the Port Authority and is now denied by the Port Authority, that the power down took place.
Yeah, hi, my name's Gary Corbett. I work for Fiduciary Trust, recently merged with Franklin Templeton shortly before 9/11. I was a computer operator on the night shift Monday night into Tuesday. The previous weekend there had been a power down. When the power was turned on, there was a lot of problems for all companies within the complex who had computer systems, simply because the mainframes weren't talking to the servers, to the front-end servers, and vice versa. And what made the day really tragic is you had a lot of the technical people, data processing types, coming in early, who wouldn't have been there till 9 or 10 o'clock. They were brought in early, and then you had the admin types coming in because, you know, the trial balances and the books weren't complete. The reason I stopped, I saw the sign, 9/11 was an inside job. Again, because of the power down, there was a complete breakdown of security that weekend. I was working on the 97th floor, and supposedly, you know, Fiduciary had a vault where there was gold, some kind of agreement with J.P. Morgan, or, you know, something someone of my level wouldn't understand. We had guided tours coming into secured areas by mistake, and nobody picking it up because there's no intrusion alarms or anything else. And the one thing, besides the loss of coworkers that day that I'll never forget, the CEO or whatever she was, Ann Tatlock, just happened to be out of town, and, you know, within moments after the collapse, you know, made the statement to the stockholders and the other people that we lost a lot of people, but don't worry about them, they were only clerks. And that's the thing that'll stick with me. Thank you. Any questions? Or?
Yeah. You mentioned the power down. Could you elaborate on that? And when was the power down?
The power down started like Friday night close of business, gradually into Saturday morning. It was the essential areas only. Fiduciary Trust was completely down. We were just there on guard duty. We were doing nothing because the power was off. The power came on probably sometime, I'm guessing, about 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon.
And this was before the towers came down?
This was before. So, like, what I'm saying is, in regard
how much before?
A day.
Power down was about 2 days before.
Yeah, but it was off completely for a good 24 to 36 hours.
And how many people went into the building during that period?
Oh, in its heyday, the entire, you know, just because it's Friday, it's hard to put an estimate, but a lot of the back office people for all companies, including Fuji Bank was like our neighbor, and, you know, just dedicated people who would, you know, work in the dark. You know, I don't know how many are in the business world.
Were there any unknown handyman type people?
That's hard to say because, you know, you don't see people from Local 3 every, you know, you see the maintenance people that you know for your floor, the assigned floors. You don't know who's from Local 3, you know, could be a guy with blue eyes, or, you know, he could be your stereotype, you know, Mideastern type, and, you know, it's New York.
What's that around your neck?
This is my ID card from Fiduciary Trust. It wasn't even changed over to Franklin Templeton, and sick as humor may be, the men's room key for the 97th floor. So call them, you know, good luck charms.
And what brings you out to the site today?
I came for the memorial services I have for the past few years once I got over the bitterness, and I'm also heavily involved in the Stop the Mosque. As far as Stop the Mosque, I'm not really anti-Islamic per se, though. I don't agree with Sharia. My thing is, this imam, I think he has one a few blocks north. He had his original congregation. there's been a congregation worshiping since 1970 on Warren Street. So they went through the Iran crisis and Desert Storm and that. There's never been an incident. I personally feel that this is in keeping with Islamic history of building a shrine or trophy near a victorious battleground.
Now, where were you on 9/11 exactly?
9/11, I was on a break. I was theoretically to work the 7 o'clock till 7:30 a.m. shift, but because of the power down, I was about to meet my boss at 9 o'clock, but 9 o'clock never came. I was down the street at George's Luncheonette when the first plane hit, coming up, like I say, getting ready to have a 9 o'clock meeting.
Now, did you, when the first plane hit and the second plane, did you actually see the towers on flame?
Yes.
And what did you see? Could you just describe?
At first, another thing that immediately came to my mind, because I had military exposure, is all the responding units kind of congregated, including, it's nothing against anybody, it happens. I don't mean this to be derogatory, but you had police and fire brass all congregating. It's like, Jesus Christ, how are we gonna deal with this? You know, they violated the basic military rule, you know, don't bunch up. And that's what they did. And when the towers came down, that's what led to the deaths of a lot of the public servants' leadership. And that's you know, that's people on the chief level and everything else. That's not taking away from That's not taking away from you know, those people in leadership positions who knew it was a precarious situation and said, you know, I ain't going to send my guys anywhere I'm not going. So that was the other thing. I'm not taking away from, you know, anybody on that. I appreciate their efforts.